On the dark night of August 8th, 1963, a Royal Mail train raced through the silent countryside from Glasgow to London. Hidden inside one of its carriages were bags stuffed with cash worth nearly £67 million in today's value. The train driver, Jack Mills, pushed the engine through the darkness, completely unaware that every mile was leading straight into a carefully planned ambush. Then suddenly, a red signal flashed ahead. It made no sense. This line was never supposed to stop at that crossing, especially not a Royal Mail train. But railway rules were absolute. Mills pulled the brakes, and the massive train slowly came to a halt in the middle of nowhere. For a few seconds, there was complete silence, but hidden behind that silence was a criminal operation planned for months, a robbery so bold that it would later become known as the greatest train robbery of all time. The mastermind behind the plan was Bruce Reynolds, a notorious London criminal who assembled a team of experienced thieves for one impossible mission: rob a moving government mail train without firing a single bullet. The gang had insider information from a mysterious senior Royal Mail security officer whose identity was never discovered. He revealed that one specific carriage, known as the high-value package coach, would be carrying an unusually massive amount of cash that night. Normally, the carriage transported around £300,000, but because of a bank holiday weekend, nearly £3 million were being moved instead. And even more shocking, the usual high-security carriage was out of service that day. A backup coach with no alarm system had been attached to the train instead. It was the perfect opportunity. The robbers spent months preparing every detail. On the night of the robbery, they hid near Sears Crossing and secretly tampered with the railway signals. They covered the green light and powered the red signal using a battery, forcing the train to stop exactly where they wanted. When the assistant driver stepped out to use the signal telephone, he discovered the line had been cut. Before he could react, masked men emerged from the darkness. The gang stormed the engine from both sides. While chaos unfolded at the front of the train, other gang members detached the first two coaches from the rest of the carriages. But the thieves weren't planning to simply rob the train. They intended to move it. The gang had brought along a retired railway driver to operate the engine, but panic spread when he admitted he didn't know how to control this newer model train. Desperate to keep the operation alive, the robbers managed to move the detached coaches toward Bridego Bridge. Waiting below the bridge was a truck. Inside the high-value package coach were 128 sacks filled with cash, weighing nearly 2.5 tons. The robbers had only 15 minutes. Working in a human chain, they passed sack after sack from the train into the truck below. Incredibly, they managed to load 120 bags before escaping into the night. The operation had worked almost perfectly, but one mistake would eventually destroy them. After escaping, the gang reached a remote farmhouse hideout where they celebrated their success. Some members even played Monopoly, using real stolen cash. What they didn't realize was that police had already narrowed the search area. During the robbery, one gang member warned the train staff not to move for 30 minutes. That single sentence helped investigators calculate exactly how far the robbers could have traveled. Police soon discovered the hideout farmhouse. Inside, they found abandoned mailbags, painted getaway vehicles, and most importantly, fingerprints left behind on the Monopoly board. Those fingerprints matched known criminals in Scotland Yard's records. One by one, the gang members were arrested. Out of the 16 men involved, 14 were eventually captured, but 2 vanished from history forever. The court later called it the crime of the century. Most of the gang received 30-year prison sentences, and the bridge where the robbery took place, Brydego Bridge, became permanently known as Train Robbers Bridge. As for Jack Mills, the driver attacked that night, he never fully recovered from the trauma of the robbery. More than 60 years later, the Great Train Robbery remains one of the most daring and perfectly executed heists in criminal history, a real-life crime story that sounded even more unbelievable than fiction itself.